Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patara with you on this hot July day. Worked all day and I thought I'm gonna make a video once we finally get showered and cleaned up. Oh, look who's come to visit. What is it? Hey guys. I don't have any cuckoo lachey, but I know you expect it. All right guys, so I'm gonna walk up here. You're gonna walk with me through this poke salad, Annie. And we're going to talk about something. So it's been on my mind, and because it is a big issue for me right now. And I like to always know that I am bringing you reality on a homestead, not what I dream per se, but what is. So let's talk about that. And one thing is, unfortunately, is I lost half my mulberry tree. Thank you, Tropical Storm Cindy, or whatever that was. Let's walk up here and see Belle as we talk. So, if you don't know, and many of you do not, there's changes coming to my homestead. Now, they may not be immediate, but I think these are things that you always need to think about. I don't care who you are, how old you are, how physically fit you are, where you live, or any of the above. You need to understand that dynamics in this lifestyle happen in just like all the other dynamics of life. You may have to change things, you can add things, you can take away things. You have to go with, as we've talked about before, the season of your life. Okay? Which has brought forth a very interesting idea or conversation in my mind, and it's actually been discussed with my family, and it's been discussed with my best of homesteading friends. If you don't know, my husband is going in this week for a biopsy. In the past 11 months, we have 10 months, we have had a lot of life changes on our farm because my husband has literally had a lot of health issues. Last September, he fell into almost complete heart failure, going downhill very fast. We've been able to recover a lot from that. We've had, it's been a lot of ups and downs. Well, now we have another challenge on the plate, which is we're having to have a biopsy done this week. He has some complications, and we need to find out what it is. We don't know what it is. When and if we know, we'll take you on that journey. But what that does is it forces an individual, me, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, to evaluate all of the potentials and what ifs. And I want you to think about that. And I'm not trying to take you to a dark place. I'm trying to take you to what is real, okay? And because that's what this channel is about. And one of the things you need to think about is I kept thinking in the past couple of days, what if I end up homesteading alone in the theory of my husband is very limited. He's been able to bounce back pretty good in terms of what all he's been through. Now he can get out and he can actually lift, and he participates, and he helps with a lot of chores. We were trying to get back into some good old cardio, but it's just one thing after another. So we'll see if we do the 5K. We got to get through this week before we make any determinations on that. But what if you're homesteading alone? What if you come into this lifestyle with a full family like I have, okay? But the reality is, my husband could end up being very compromised one way or another. It may not be forever, but it could be for a couple of years. We don't know. You don't know. My children are getting older, and while I remain very physically fit and very capable and able, I'm not exactly the biggest gal on the planet. And even if you are Hercules, there's only so much that you can do. So let me talk to you about that and to take you through my season. I'm waiting on a calf. I'm waiting on goat kids. I can tell you as an individual farmer, homesteader, being a milkmaid is a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work. No one's complaining about that. But the reality is when you're doing it alone, are you going to have the time, the resources, and everything that you need in order to get that job done? With having large animals comes a lot of things. You got to bring in a lot of hay potentially. You got to bring in a lot of bags of feed potentially. That's a lot of lifting. Can you as an individual, let's just take it as a woman's perspective. Can you do that on your own? Do you have help that you can rely on in case you are alone? Well, I am going to encourage you on what you can do and what I would do if I have to ever make a decision. Now, I am obviously not making any decisions at this time. There's no need to. But there's thoughts in the back of my mind, what if? I would go straight into having goats. I would, obviously Mayfield has a purpose. Belle would remain here for as long as I could absolutely keep her. I have no plans to sell her or anything like that as she comes down here. I have no plans to sell her. But if I have to pull back, I'm gonna go back and have 2 does. I'm gonna milk goats. That's what I would do. As far as my chickens, I would probably end up pulling back on all of my poultry. I think for me, I think a very manageable coop, my coop area up here, I think a very manageable number for me would be somewhere between, I don't know, 10 and 20 hens. The goal would be to feed my family, feed myself, and a little bit more for barter, because you can certainly barter with those goods. Certainly would go that route. I am so thankful that I have a back to Eden garden. I can tell you that having a massive, large garden could potentially be a challenge for multiple reasons. It depends on what's going on. I'm still homeschooling children. I could be taking care of a spouse, going back into the caretaker role. So that would pull me away from my large garden. But I have my back to Eden, and that's where I fell back on this year, and I'm so thankful. Whether or not you can have a back to Eden garden is totally independent of where you are and what you want to do, but I would encourage you to really look into that. If you're going to keep a garden, which I encourage you to do, even if it's just to grow a few seasonal things, obviously, to supplement you, I would encourage you to absolutely know how to use machinery. Ladies, if your husband is the main operator of your machinery on your property, you need to learn how to use the tiller, the lawnmower. You need to know how to use the tractor. You need to know how to use the chainsaw and a few of the small things around, because you will be using all of those from time to time. Maybe the stapler gun, things like that. If you have them around for small projects, make sure you know how to operate those with ease. Okay, at least how to turn them on, charge them, use them for basic stuff like that, because you're going to end up having moments where you probably are going to have to use them. I would not get into cattle. They are a massive beast. You don't need to compromise your time and yourself more than you need to. You certainly don't need to compromise the potential of getting hurt. And I'm telling you, the bigger the beast, the more it's going to take for you to bring in feed and hay, fencing, etc., etc. Okay, you need something that you can work with. I would absolutely consider, if you have not, depending upon your situation, if you are the lead role in your homestead, whether it be you're completely independent due to various reasons, death, someone is completely compromised, whatever the situation is, I would heavily consider several things, such as making sure that you are safe. What do I mean by that? Ladies, you need to make sure that, in particular, you need to make sure that you know how to operate a firearm. Various types of firearms. We're on bear watch right now. I'm not worried about the boogeyman showing up on my driveway. I'm worried about a bear right now. So you need to know that when people talk about firearms, there's lots of critters, 2-legged, 4-legged, and no-legged, that you may have to deal with on your own. Another thing that you need to think about is I would absolutely have potentially, depending on what you've got, a livestock guardian dog that's going to help protect your property, and some type of dog that's going to help protect your home. So these are things that people need to think about. It's not about what you can't do, it's about what you can do. Because you never know when you're going to be pulled away to have to handle something and take care of something and somebody else. It happens. I am the example of that right now. Right here, right now. So while my husband is able, and we are certainly going to press forward through this situation, and while I do have various forms of help around me, my children, I have neighbors, I have close friends and family, not everybody has all of those things at that moment right there and right then. So I want to encourage you to also look into things that are easy for you to plant that can continue to come back and bless you year after year. A small orchard. with you know, dwarf or semi-dwarf trees, apples, plums, peaches, whatever works for you, whatever you like. You definitely want to and should consider berries. Blackberries. I have an entire thing of blackberries going up here, and raspberries also, and blueberries that are blessing us this year, and I hope they continue to add to those every year because they are easy to manage. Herbs. I've got a video coming out on herbs that I want to recommend that you can plant and that they hopefully will continue to come back and bless you, because you do need to consider these things in assisting you, especially during the winter months when you are sick and you know, just to boost your immune system in general, right? So these are things to think about. I want to encourage you on your homesteading journey, but I also want to let you know that regardless of your age, regardless of your economic situation, regardless of where you live, regardless, things happen to people, and that does not mean that homesteaders are excluded from that. So things to think about. Hopefully you wrote down some of these ideas, so if you're getting into this lifestyle and you also want to start slow and you also want to take things at a smaller pace so you can acclimate your family, acclimate yourself, acclimate your budget, write those things down for that too. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Everybody's going around the border here. You finding the good stuff? Hey! Oh, Cochise, thank you. You finding the good stuff? Yeah? I think so. We'll keep you posted, guys. We appreciate you all the time and all of your love and support, and just for being here all the time on our journey. Hey, I just showered. I do not want to smell like you anymore. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.